you know you make me float, float. Boy, you really give me high. Ooh, I feel like I'm on dope, 'cause you.
Okay, so what's good, YouTube? I know I said I was going to do a video a day. Okay, so we going to get this done as best as we can. I had to turn my light on, so excuse me. All right, so today is Tuesday. No, I'm lying. Today is Wednesday, July 2nd. So I'm going to do a video every single day on this channel. It may not be a long video, but I'm going to do something. Okay, so first things first, I am 11/9. A lot of people say, hey, Elvin. No, my name is not Elvin. It is 11. E11VN, or just the number 11. I tried to be creative with it. I don't know if I said this in a previous video, but 11/9 is my dad's birth date. I lost my dad in December of 2022. He was always my biggest supporter, as well as he kept me motivated. So I dedicated my business and my brand to him. So that's number one, 11/9. Now, let's talk about fake friendships. Don't mind my lights in the background. I don't know how to change the setting, and I cannot find the remote control. So just focus on me if you can. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about fake friendships, because I know I said something yesterday about monitoring spirits. And I did not know anything about that before, because I don't know, I think I was on TikTok and I saw a video and someone was talking about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I know a person like this. So first things first, I moved to Houston, Texas in June of 2020. Me and my husband, my 3 kids, we moved from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm originally from like the Washington, D.C. area, but yeah, we was living in Baltimore. So we moved in June of 2020 from Baltimore, Maryland to Houston, Texas. We drove. We packed up a rental van and my car and the kids, and we drove from Maryland to Texas. It took us like 2 days to get here. So as y'all know, 2020 was a hard year for a lot of us. We was all in the house. And I don't know, it was just like I saw people in Houston, like while we were stuck in the house, people in Houston, they was outside. And I was like, I want to go outside too. So we moved here, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Houston is, see, my light just went out. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, so Houston is just like, everything is like aesthetic, if that makes sense. Like it look pretty, but it's not what you think it is. But yeah, so anyway, we moved here in 2020. In February of 2021, it keeps saying my light. We just gonna skip past that. Anyway, so February of 2021, if y'all remember, we had a huge, damn, okay, is this better? Okay, anyway, so February of 2021, we had this really bad snowstorm, and coming from Maryland, I'm just like, okay, well, you know, the plow truck's gonna come get us out, we gonna be straight, right? My husband said, no, babe. I'm like, what you talking about? He was just like, they don't have that type of stuff here. So we was literally like struggling. I don't know if y'all seen it on the news, but it was like we ain't had no power. We was freezing. Thankfully, I'm gonna say this, thankfully, because it was snow, we had we put like this, and this sounds so ghetto, and I'm so sorry. But what we did was we went outside, we took our coolers and our cooler bag, we put a whole bunch of snow in the bag and stuff, and put our food in there because it was so cold. So we was able to keep our food cold. And thank God we had, at the time, we had a gas stove, because we was living in a rental house at the time. So we had a gas stove, but we didn't have power. So we was able to cook, but yeah, it was hard. Like it was hard. Like, and I'm used to the cold. However, it was just like we was without power for like 3 days, and it was a tough one. I ain't gonna lie, it was a tough one. Like they would give us power like bits and pieces. But anyway, so back to the story. February 2021. I don't know how I got in this group on Facebook, but it was supposed to be like a female support group in Houston. And at that point in time, I was like so low, depressed. Like, I moved away from, like, we moved to Texas. We have absolutely no, well, I have no family here. My husband, his sister lives down here. So, I mean, I got my sister-in-law, but my support system, like my mom's, my dad, my cousins, aunties, uncles, all of them, I ain't had nobody. So I was like in a real funk in my depression. And that really, I don't know, it just had me down. And somehow, some way, this group popped up on my Facebook. It was like Houston something sisters. I can't remember. So join that group. I saw a lot of people was having the same issue that I was having. You know, it was just like an outlet. It was people that I could talk to, and it was a lot of new people in that group. And I will say this, I met some really nice females. Well, I hate saying it like that, but I met some really nice women in that group. A lot of the people that I kind of met and clicked with, they wasn't from here anyway. So it was just like, okay, I'm clicking with people in Houston, but y'all ain't from Houston either. So, but I will say this, because I'm not trying to give the specifics of anything or anybody, and I'm not saying anybody's names just because I have, you know, recognized, moved on, and healed from all of that. But I will say that I did meet somebody, and, you know, it was a friendship. You know, we meshed, we clicked on a lot of things. So I was like, okay, you know, now me being me, I'm a real guarded person. I've been like that my whole entire life just because I'm an only child, and growing up an only child, it's just like, I don't know. For me, I wasn't very trusting of people. I'm a DV survivor as well. So with that being said, I'm real guarded when it comes to meeting new people. So, met a friend, kind of kept them at like, like, you cool, but we want, you know, I got to get to know you. So as I'm getting to know this person, you know, we talked on the phone. He, ha, ha. Again, I'm not a real talkative person. But, you know, we talked a little bit, got to know each other on the phone, texted back and forth. We went out, had lunch, you know, the vibes was there. Everything was cool. Until, I don't know. It was just like, the warning signs were there. However, my husband kept telling me, well, you know, you got to give people a chance. You know, you can't just keep people at arm's length like that. But I was just like, but I don't know her like that. So all of the red flags that were coming up, my husband kind of was just like, well, you know, you like this, you got to give people a chance, you got to let people in, you got to do this. So a lot of the red flags were there early on in the friendship. However, I was just ignoring it, saying, okay, that's just you being you, 11. You need to like chill. You need to give people a chance. You need to stop being so hard on people. So everything was going good in the friendship. My dad had came down to visit. I let my dad meet my friend and everything. My dad had came down to visit. I think it was, yeah. So it was June 2021. He came down to visit. He definitely said, I want to be there for, because my oldest son was turning 13 at the time. Okay. So my dad came down to visit. Dad met the friend and everything. But because it had been so long since I seen my dad, and me and my dad are just like this close, I really wasn't on the phone with people or nothing like that. Like, I just wanted to be in the moment, be with him. You know, he flew all the way out to Texas. Like, I want to spend all my time with him before the visit's over with. That's just, you know, that should just be common sense to anybody. So, yeah, I was just kind of spending a lot of time with my father and just enjoying that visit and everything. And right before he left, a friend of mine that I had went to we grew up together, went to elementary school with each other. Like she even saw me off, like before we moved, like when we was packing up our house before we moved to Texas, she came to see me and say goodbye to me, the kids, and my husband. That July she had passed away. And that like broke me down. So again, I was down from that. My dad was there. However, I think my friend had passed away at the beginning, like July 1st. It was July 1st, 2021 when my friend had passed away. And then I think it was July the 5th, that's when my dad had left. So mind you, I'm dealing with the grief from losing a best friend that I knew since I was 9-10 years old. And then grief because, I mean, I understand. Yeah, my dad was always a phone call away, but he had just left too. So I was pretty much like in a slump, okay? When I tell you I was in a slump, I was just so sad. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to be in the house. And my aunt's birthday. My aunt was my godmother. She was a big part in raising me as a child. So her birthday had came up, and again, it's just like she passed away as well. So it was just like I felt like I kept getting mental hit after mental hit after mental hit, and I just wanted to kind of get myself together. Like, I'm not the type of person, I'm not going to put my problems on you, if that makes sense. Like, let me go through what I got to go through. Let me get myself together. And then once I bounce back, then I'll let you know what's going on. However, the friend that I had, well, the air quotes, the friend that I had, yeah, she got mad at me because I was going through depression, and I didn't want to, I just wanted to, I wanted to heal. However, it was just like, she was like, I don't want to be your friend no more if you're not talking to me and telling me your problems. Pretty much. That's not the exact way she put it, but however, she was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be your friend no more. You don't want to talk, and you're not telling me what's wrong with you. But I'm just like, mind you, we only known each other for 2 months. Like, why do I got to divulge my whole entire life story? So at that point, it was just like, okay, she don't want to talk to me no more. Whatever, fine. I was like, all right, whatever, fine. So, stop talking. I was still, healing, but as I was healing, I was meeting new people. And at that point in time, my husband and I, we were buying our first home. So, we went to closing on our house. When we went to closing on our house, it was like a happy moment. We posted it on social media. And, that's when a friend comes back and like, oh yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. And me, I'm a very forgiving person, okay? I'm like, I ain't gonna judge nobody because you probably said what you said because you was going through something. So, hey, we gonna put a pin in this story right now. And I'm gonna come back to you with part 2, okay? So this is just part 1 of how everything started unraveling. So part 2 is pretty much, okay, this is when it's getting serious, all right? But yeah, I've been talking for too long and camera. So if you want part 2, definitely like this video, comment, because we really about to get deep. All right, love you. Bye.